So welcome to workshop number 2. In workshop number 1, you learned how to manage your time more effectively so that you could get more done. And that directly impacts workshop 2, because in workshop 2, we are focusing on setting ambitious goals and creating action plans or strategies to hit those goals. Well, guess what? The more efficient you are, the better you manage your time, the easier it is to hit goals. And the more efficient you become, the bigger your goals can be. So when you hear me talking about action plans or strategies, they are the same thing. It's just a different way of talking about it. So we talked about in the workshop whether you actually have to set a goal. You don't have to. Some people just have the goal of going to work, getting it over and done with, and coming back and spending time with their family, or they just get through the week so that they can have an enjoyable weekend. Those are kind of goals, but what I'm going to encourage you to do is to set really ambitious, challenging goals. Because the reason that we set goals is for the things that we learn as we work towards hitting those goals. If you set a goal that challenges you, for some of you, just creating a schedule and sticking to that schedule was enough of a goal for the last few weeks. But by doing that, by setting the goal of sticking to your schedule, you have to learn self-discipline. You have to learn to override your primitive brain. And if you stick to your goal, you have the pride of doing so. I love John C. Maxwell. He's one of my favorite people to listen to, and he's got some great books. And what he always says is there is no finish line. You never arrive at the place you want to be. And how that applies to goals is when you set a goal, if you set a goal of, if you're in sales, setting a goal of selling 100,000 or 1,000,000 or whatever it may be, as you work towards hitting that goal, you will learn so many skills: self-discipline, bravery, calling those customers that you don't want to speak to, and you'll probably have to learn a lot about your product. And by the time you hit that goal, you will be so much more advanced than you were when you started. And so then you'll set a bigger goal, and then you hit that bigger goal, and you set a bigger goal. And that's the same whatever your job is. If it's invoicing, if it's closing out jobs, if it's scheduling jobs, as you become more efficient and more disciplined, you can get more and more done. And so you never really arrive at that goal. You set a goal, you hit it, and then you set a bigger goal, because that is the most important thing that you can learn in this process, is to enjoy the process of hitting your goal. So that's basically what we want to do today, is to set some big goals. Know that the goal of a goal is to become a better person, and to enjoy the journey towards hitting the goal. Now obviously you get the pride when you've hit that goal, and if you get some kind of bonus, then you get some kind of monetary reward. But what I want you to cling to is the idea you set a goal for the experience and who you become at the end. So we also talked about when you set a goal, it needs to be a SMART goal. So it is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So when you set a goal, you do want to set a goal to say, I'm going to invoice more. That is a goal, but it's not very specific. How much more do you want to invoice? If you want to sell some more, you sell one generator contract, you sold more. Have you hit your goal? In theory, but because it's not a SMART goal, you need to be much more specific. So how many things are you going to do, and over what time period? That's where the T part comes in. So it's got to be specific, it's got to be measurable, it's got to be relevant. You need to set a relevant goal that's going to make you grow, is going to build your department and contribute, and it's got to be achievable. If you've only ever sold $10,000 worth of equipment in a month, to set a goal of selling $1 million in a month, maybe not very achievable. So it wants to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Time-bound just means that you are going to set the time and that you are going to achieve your goal in. So that is what you need to do. You need to set goals because of what you learn as you work towards the goal, and know that once you hit that goal, you're going to set an even more challenging goal, and that's just how life goes. So you need to enjoy the journey, and when you set those goals, you need to make sure that they are SMART goals.